Hello, and welcome to this episode of the K&Co Tech Pod. I'm your host, Shelly Kramer, Principal Analyst here at Kramer&Co. And I'm joined today by Dirk Hoerig, who's the founder and Chief Innovation Officer of Commercetools. And we're going to have a conversation about the evolution of composable commerce. Commercetools just announced a new application, Commercetools InStore, and that was designed to bring the company's composable commerce capabilities into physical stores, which is an advancement that I think truly is as exciting for consumers as it is for enterprise retailers. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. Dirk, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Shelly. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you. We met in Miami at your event last year, and I have continued to be wowed about the amazing things that you and your team are doing. And this is yet another notch, another tick on that box. So let's talk about today's retailers. They face challenges when it comes to delivering consistent, unified customer experiences across the many channels where customers are. Even thinking about the many channels that I shop in on a daily basis is, it's overwhelming. And when you consider the touch points, desktop, mobile, social, kiosk, and the variety of industries served, and all of those have different needs, and customers have kind of different expectations, and then you add in the different business models, B2C, B2B, direct to consumer, marketplace, all of these things, and then you've got the variety of commerce channels. I mentioned that already: online, offline, in-store, point of sale, all of these things to manage. I mean, and when you take all of these together, then you top it off by the need to deliver amazing customer experiences across those different geos and different customer segments. It's a lot. Talk with me a little bit, Dirk, if you would, about the challenges that you see your retail customers facing.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned many of them, Shelly, right?
Yeah.
So over the last 20 years, I would say commerce, not only e-commerce, has significantly changed from something that was just one or two touch points, definitely the store. Then e-commerce started in the 90s. And since then, things kept increasing and changing at a pace of change that we actually did not expect, right? Yeah. And especially when we look back to the last years, things even accelerated. And then with COVID, when suddenly everybody was, I would say, almost forced to buy online, things started to break, right? So when we look to the store, pick up in store, return in store, those kind of processes became really complex for many brands and retailers to implement. And now in 25, I think we see two main trends. On the one end, what you already mentioned, it's all about unified commerce. We have so many touch points where we are interacting with consumers, where we can provide and show the value of our brands, of our products. And it's not only limited to the web shop or to mobile apps, right? So we see more and more touch points arising, changing, and that puts challenges on them because adapting quickly is becoming hard for them. And not because they don't want to or that they don't understand, but the technologies that had been 20 years back an enabler for them now become a gatekeeper. They hold them back. And on the other end, we're at the age of efficiency, right? So everybody's talking about AI. Things need to happen faster. The CFOs are looking at the brands on the budget. Hey, we have all of these things that we want to get done, but we need to deliver them faster and cheaper to create more customer value. And those kind of things are a little bit contradicting. But if you want to be successful in that market, this is what you need to live up to.
Right, absolutely. So we talk about, operations, and as you mentioned, we've got online and we've got offline. And why is it today so imperative that retailers figure out how to unify these operations? I mean, breaking down these silos comes with some considerable benefits. So walk us through that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, I would say, if you're not connected to the industry and understand what's technically happening behind as a consumer when you buy a product. I had that situation personally just a few months back that just a luggage bag that I bought recently got broken. I had to go to the store. Actually, they offered free repairs. But the store, though it's a young and modern brand, did not have any information about my bag. So I ordered online. The repair had to happen through the store, and it was all of a manual kind of process. And you wonder, why is that? And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's two separate kind of systems. And this has been growing historically, that first there had been the store systems, and often it's not just one system that's enabling the store experience from a consumer perspective, but it's multiple systems for inventory, for the point of sale, for promotions, loyalty, and so on. And then there's the e-commerce system that often is a little bit younger and had been implemented at a later stage. And then they try to make them work together. But often it's like the catalog is different. It's just if you have two different kind of spreadsheets and you try to merge them into one, and then things are breaking and falling apart in the just day-to-day business. And when you imagine that happening at scale, so think about retailers that have hundreds of thousands of stores, that have big online presence around multiple countries. You're an international customer, you're traveling, maybe you buy something in Europe, but you need a warranty claim support then when you're back in the States and so on. Yeah. This becomes even more complex because often then these systems are internationally also separated, coming from different kind of vendors. Sure. And this has grown. And this is basically the problem that they are now in front of. Everybody says, hey, this is so easy. What looks my request or demands are so easy from a consumer perspective. I want a seamless, unified shopping experience. I want things to work. It can't be that it works here, but that it doesn't work there. Or I don't know, simple use case. You go to a store and they don't know the inventory, right? So that they have, oh, we need to check if we have it on stock. I come back in 5 minutes, and then you see a store associate walking away after 15 minutes. Somebody can away, yeah, that was the last item. Unfortunately, we did not know. How come this happened? Because the data in the company is all there, but it's not accessible from everywhere because the systems are not unified. And this is actually where we want to help.
Well, and from a consumer standpoint, I think that what adds urgency to this whole equation is that consumers don't have a lot of patience. Like, they're not interested in waiting around for you to get your act together, and that process of maybe I order something online that I want to pick up in store, and the system tells me it's there, and I show up in the store to pick it up, and just like you described, maybe it's not there. Maybe associate has to go look for it. And then I'm, tapping my toes and getting more frustrated by the minute. And you know what I'm saying? And so I think that when we want customers to avail themselves of these systems that we put in place, buy online, pick up in store, that sort of thing. I mean, it has to be a great experience because we don't want to wait around for you to get it right,
Yeah, and you're not alone there, Shelly, right? So when you look at recent surveys, about 57% of consumers that had been asked in one survey, they want to buy online and return in store. And also a significant number of consumers, I think in the high 30%, right? So roughly close to 40%. Wanted also the other way around, right? So that you buy something in store, but then you have all of the information available in your online account, can initiate a return, get recommendations, and so on. So the consumer demand for that is really high. And the patient part that you spoke about, it's a really high number, right? So up to the 90% of customers that have to wait too long in line just to check out are strongly reconsidering if they even go back to that store for another purchase because their waiting experience had been too bad.
The thing of it is, it's kind of like our memories are short in some instances and long in other instances because I'm a professional consumer, and this drives a lot of my consumption habits. So the easier a checkout process can be, the push of one button, all of that sort of thing. I love that. I buy more. I come back, but I don't remember specifically the retailers who served that up for me. But what I do remember are those experiences that you just talked about, where I had to wait online forever, and maybe the staff wasn't knowledgeable, or maybe they were having a bad day and they weren't helpful or whatever, but that really impacts a customer's affinity for and a loyalty for a brand and really their desire to keep shopping with them. And so this is a lot of money at stake.
I don't believe that anybody ever said, hey, build a store where I can at the end add up in a line, stand there just to pay and get out, right? So that's, I think that the concept of retail, how it had been growing over the last 40, 50 years, is up for a significant change. And we
Yeah.
see this at some brands doing it really, really well already, but they put a lot of effort into their technology because they had to develop everything themselves to get that broken experience on a high level. And this is where we now want to standardize it for everybody.
Right, right. Well, I love that. And we need this. So let's talk about your big news. So commercetools InStore. It just launched. It was designed to solve for these challenges, to help retailers unify online and offline operations and bring the capabilities of commercetools, composable commerce for B2C into the store itself, aligning what's happening in store and offline and addressing these challenges. So talk me through it. How does this work?
Yeah, the goal really is to bring the web speed, the things that you already mentioned that you are expecting from all of your iPhone purchases and interactions with brands happening to the store, right? So instead of having the traditional store speed and everything has to be slow and it's not working, really applying what we developed with composable commerce for the web world and bringing all of these functionalities to the store. And this is providing significant value on the one end for all of the retailers because, so as I already mentioned, at the moment, they are maintaining multiple separate systems just to run the store operations.
Right.
And it's not only on running and maintaining these systems are really expensive and they are hard to customize. So once you think about a change, and I'm not talking about bigger changes like, hey, let's implement a pick up in store process or return in store kind of process, where you could imagine that there are also other things that need to happen. Just even if they want to apply a new promotion model to the POS system, this can take quarters and often go into 6 or 7 digits of investments that they have to make because the systems hadn't been designed for a world that's changing so quickly when you have to make adaptations to your market because they came from the pre-web kind of era. Right. From a consumer perspective, that has a lot of value, right? So you already mentioned not getting rid of the waiting time. This is something that I'm personally really, I would say it's my personal mission. Let's get all of the waiting times out of the store because I'm a really impatient person as well. I love being in the store. I love interacting with people, but what I don't like is just to get the transaction done, pay for what I already selected, spending a significant amount of time for that. So this is one of the kind of things. On the other end, what we are also doing is we give the store associates complete new abilities. And while in the past they had been trying to more fulfill just the transactional need, the power that we give to their hands, also through, you can use commercetools InStore on any smartphone, any tablet, it's not limited to any hardware, any kind of device, is all of the functionality, all of the capabilities that we have within composable commerce. So full transparency on the customer. So they finally know about you and what you really want. So the example that I used about the bag that I had to return where the store did not know about it, and then they need to check in the serial number and so on. This all would have been solved automatically. I would come into the store, they say, hey, Dirk, great that you're here. We already heard or have read here yesterday evening, you filed the claim that there's something, we already take care of your bag. And here are some products based on your past purchase that you could like. Because also the relevant amount of people in service have indicated that they are likely buying more and coming again if they are working with really knowledgeable and supporting store associates. Right. Versus if they are not having any kind of support, they're probably not coming back again and just search for the next website that is giving them a better experience.
Right. Well, and I think the feeling, great relationships are really pretty simple, and it's all based on how you make somebody feel. And so when you, Dirk, walk into that store and they can say, hey, Dirk, we've been expecting you. Let's see that bag of yours. We're going to get you fixed up right. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel an instant affinity to the vendor who's doing the repair. You're going to go back to that vendor. Maybe they sell things you hadn't thought about needing before, right? And so, but you also feel like this brand really cares about me and the investment that I made in this piece of luggage, which probably is not cheap. And so it really is how you make your customers feel that does such a long way in promoting that brand affinity and that loyalty. And that's how you sell more things to more people, which is what we want to do, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what I maybe also forgot to mention is it's also allowing the retailers to launch all of these things really quickly and with low effort. And everything that they already have through the Composable Commerce platform in their online capabilities are automatically available also on the store. And when they decide that, okay, we want to turn off BOPIS, BORIS, so buy online, pick up in store, return in store, and so on, this almost happens with a snip of your fingers, or literally as kind of fast. And we are not talking about quarters or even years sometimes in kind of projects. So you can launch mobile checkout. You can easily have recommendations integrated, your loyalty programs popping up. So it's at the end, the promise that the industry tried to give on the term, I think in the past being used was omnichannel, and something that we spoke about. It's awkward to say even, but since 20 years, I think everybody's talking about omnichannel, though it had been separate channels that had been badly connected.
Right.
We are now at the times of unified commerce. And this is basically our mission. So to empower all of the customer interactions and touch points with the highest level of experience.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So commercetools InStore, it's going to help increase efficiencies, streamline with that single platform. You're reducing your system complexity, operational costs are cut. All of those things are great. You touched on empowering teams, giving associates intelligent tools and insights. And, the reality of it is, I don't think anybody goes to work any day, certainly at the retail level, saying, I just want to do an average job. And, I don't care about the customers that I interact with, because their job is to interact with customers. So the more that you can do to make their jobs more enjoyable, more efficient, more enjoyable, give them, empower them, I think, you also hold on to people longer, right? And so I think there's that. But and then you mentioned the ability to innovate more rapidly. I think that's cool. But talk with me a little bit, and I know this is an important element of what you do, and it's foundational for you and your team at commercetools. Talk with me about security and compliance.
Oh, super important, right? As a originally European company that is now operating globally in so many countries of the world. On the one end, I think it starts, for example, with GDPR. So treating the customer data securely is important. There are so many things on regulations globally that brands and retailers need to respect, because it's not just one law that's applying. They're not only operating within the US or within Germany. It's often 25, 30 countries that our customers have operations in, and you need a partner that you can trust in there. And
Right.
commercetools is the highest certified platform in the market. We have put a lot of effort in the last 15 years, literally, into not only the security, but also the transparency of where is what data, how is it being operated, how is it being secured. That this is a key trust factor for our customers.
Yeah, so important. I conveniently also cover the cybersecurity space, so there's a reason that I care about that so much. Well, Dirk, as we wrap this episode, we've talked before. I love a good customer story. Do you have? I know it's early days, but do you have any examples of customers using commercetools InStore that you can share?
Yeah, though we are literally just launching as we speak here, the new product. We actually already have a customer live since a couple of months, and we have many in implementations and in rollout that I cannot talk about yet, but it's Jaycar, a leading Australian electronic retailer. And that had been impressive because they had been the first customer that adopted commercetools InStore. And we had a lot of assumptions on how it can work. And we have a lot of POS retail experts within the company where they said, okay, other traditional systems, it can easily take 1 to 2 years to roll them out. And we want to be significantly faster.
Right.
Now, what happened to Jaycar, it took them 6 weeks from really kicking the project off to go live, putting all of the knowledge that you mentioned. So I'm giving the store associates the tool that they can finally really serve their customers to the level that they want to, and provide that experience, then up to mobile checkout, integrated loyalty programs, AI-enabled product recommendations, and many, many more things. All of that just within 6 weeks, and had been an impressive success.
I think that that has long been, for me, one of the most compelling parts of the value proposition of commerce tools and the inroads you've made in the composable commerce space. I mean, the ability to stand something up, and I heard this time and time again from enterprise retail customers at your Elevate event in 2024. It's just that time, that speeding that time to value, getting things implemented quickly. I mean, you and I have both been around long enough where that's a big deal. And it didn't always used to be this way. So to me, 6 weeks, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
No, we are fully excited. K&Co obviously is an amazing customer,
Yeah.
but we have many other amazing brands that are now on the rollout. And as you just mentioned, Elevate 24, there's an Elevate 25 coming up
Yeah.
in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So hopefully see you there. And maybe for everybody else who's interested, just come by in Miami, visit us there, and then
Yeah.
experience all of these technologies in person.
Well, I could not be more excited for you and the team with this launch. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think your enterprise retail customers are going to love it. And I think consumers are going to love it. Whether they see it happening or not, they're going to experience it. So, in a nutshell, unified commerce is about bridging that gap between online and offline commerce, driving growth, efficiency, customer loyalty, and commerce tools in store is really designed to do all those things. So, Dirk Hoerig, founder and Chief Innovation Officer of Commerce Tools, thank you so much for making time out of your crazy busy schedule to join me for this fantastic conversation. To our viewers and listening audience, this is Shelly Kramer from Kramer & Company Research. Thank you so much for joining us today for our coverage of enterprise and emerging tech news. And if you've not yet hit that subscribe button, we'd love for you to do so. And we'll see you back here next time.